Yo, peace and love, family. It's the Hood Psychologist. I'm back at it again with the legendary
Nia Queen, and this is the What's Good With You podcast.
What's good with you?
What's up, man? So we have a special guest,
Special
a marriage and family
guest.
therapist, okay? Susan Guerrero.
Yep.
Okay, Susan, I got it right. Yes. Okay, Susan, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Great. What's up, everybody? My name is Susan Guerrero, as Nia just so beautifully pronounced. I'm an associate marriage and family therapist, and I currently work at Pain Psychology Center, and I see individuals who experience chronic pain. On top of that, just helping them navigate through mental health difficulties, such as anxiety, depression, other things that might come up. All of it is tailored to how that manifests in the body and how they can unlearn their pain.
Okay. And where did you go to school? Just
okay. No, USC alumni in the building. Fight on.
okay.
My master's in marriage and family therapy.
Say that.
Yes.
Let me tell you. Susan we went to high school together, right? This is my dog. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, it's some people that I just be rooting for. Like, I know they gonna make it in life. I know they gonna be successful. And Susan is always that person. Like, anytime I see a picture of you on Instagram, I'm like, Susan got this. Like, I already know she gonna rock it. Like, whatever she doing in her life, she gonna do it to the fullest extent. So, kudos to you.
That warms my heart. Thank you, Juan.
For real, as much love on all the success, man. I love to see it.
Yeah,
You too, fam.
I'm proud of you because I remember talking to you in your last year at USC, and we were talking about like therapy and everything. We were like at a birthday party talking about therapy, like just all to the corner. So I definitely always wanted to, keep you in mind for this show because I'm like, oh yeah, Susan, she's a good speaker. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm happy to have you here. How was your guys' week this week?
It was, hey, not gonna lie, it was pretty lit. It was pretty
The
lit.
week or the weekend? Which one you want to talk about? Let's talk about
whatever. What was the highlight?
I had a good productive week, but my girl had a birthday dinner this weekend, so kind of spent the bag. Had to spend the bag on all that.
Yeah.
Went to Maestro's. Now you know what? We went to Maestro's. It's high scale and all that. You know what I'm saying? They came out with the check. It was like $1,000.
Ooh.
But I looked. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. What y'all order, right? And so I looked, and they put the gratitude into the
the gratuity,
the gratuity, yeah. I didn't really know that they do that, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, hold on, $200 tip. Wait a minute, that's why we way up there. I'm like, nah, bro, you get like $60 from me, bro.
Yeah, they added in like.
I don't really like that though. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't like that. Like, I think I should be able to decide how much of a tip I get.
Well, if you got $1,000 bill, then the $200 tip, that's appropriate. Like,
I just gotta step my game up.
It's all right. You only gotta do it once a year. I mean, actually, Valentine's Day coming up, so.
Nah, we ain't doing that again.
Okay. What about you, Susan?
Man, well, I had work, and the weekend was pretty lit, but it was chill. I have 2 little guinea pigs. Gumdrop and Jelly Bean. Oh. And I love my guinea pigs, y'all. So I have fun with them. Cleaning up the house, just making my space clean, get that solitude in there, mindfulness or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was a nice balance. I turned up, chilled. My husband was on his own little thing. He'd be on the game, click-clacking away. So it was nice.
All right, y'all. So we're going to get into our first segment, Hate to See It. And this happened, I want to say last month. But since we haven't been here in a month, I wanted to talk about it because it relates to mental health, and we're all in the mental health field, and we're all Black. So,
wait, really?
I was like, wait, what? So the APA apologizes for its support of structural racism in psychiatry, and if for you guys that don't know, APA is American Psychiatric Association. So as people in the mental health field, people of color in the mental health field, how do you guys feel about that apology? Do you feel like it's sincere? What do you think?
I think a lot of times these structures, they've been in place for so long. Like, an apology is okay, but what's the action behind it? Like, what are we gonna do?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, San Bernardino County, they they declared racism a public health crisis, right? But it was like, what's the action? Like, that was a couple months ago. You know, where we at? We ain't really seen nothing come out of y'all just making that statement. So a lot of times these, you know, big name structures, they try to just soften us up. Like, hey, we saying we sorry, but like, nah, we need action at this point, bro.
Right.
You know, I really agree with you, Tuan. I think a lot of it has been performative, and I'm trying to see what action is going to be put behind it, and like what the actual protocols will look like to ensure that people of color are heard, and then even when they're teaching, that the professors are doing their own work to work through any biases that might leak out if they haven't have done that, you know, racial justice work, or even breaking down their white identities, or people of color identities that fall in proximity to whiteness but aren't black. Anti-blackness shows up everywhere.
Oh, for real.
So I'm trying to see what the real action is going to look like Tuan was saying.
Yeah, I'm definitely it was very interesting to read their apology, because just working with children, I see black children get misdiagnosed a lot with like ODD or conduct disorder.
Crazy.
You know, when it's really trauma. When it's really a trauma response, it's not a conduct disorder, but they're so quick to slap on a label for the little black boys or little black girls, and you know, label them problematic or difficult children. And it's like, okay, but are you guys assessing the trauma that's behind this? Y'all not even paying attention to that. Y'all just throwing them away, saying, oh no, they got ODD. They need an IEP. Like, okay, no, they need a therapist that's going to help them work through the trauma. Don't just label them with ODD. So I've seen that so much, like in the field that I'm in, because I work with children. Like, it's just disheartening, because a lot of these children just need like somebody to listen to them.
Yeah, somebody be patient with them. Like, do you take the time to actually just sit there and you, like you said,
and
really
talk with
assess
them,
and
not
talk?
at them.
Like, are you in this with this child, or are you just like, all right, let me just sign this? Oh, I've seen this before. All right. Oh, this is you're just like that. All the other black kids that come in here. Okay.
Treat it like a number.
You know what I'm saying? Like.
And I remember being the only black kid in my kindergarten class, and I felt like I was singled out. Like, I felt like I was picked on. I was just an energetic kid, but my kindergarten teacher is writing notes in my report card like, oh, Nia needs to get tested for ADHD and da-da-da-da. Like, what? Do you even know, like, the criteria for ADHD? Like, what do you mean? Just because I talk a lot?
Word and was like, right.
Yeah, I'm like, just because I talk a lot in class, like, oh, I have ADHD. And, you know, it was a white school. It was a private white school, and I was the only black kid in my class. So it's just, you know, yeah, that hit hard for me, because I'm like, people try to do that to me. I see it in my work. But yeah, like you guys said, we need to see some action behind it. Like, what are you guys gonna actually put in place to help people of color, to help black people, indigenous people, whoever they said in the apology. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But, I mean, it's just an apology right now.
I'm curious, like, what steps can they actually take? Like, what will they actually do? Like,
I mean, that's why it's important for people like us to be involved in those spaces, in those rooms.
Decision making.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
Exactly. So we can make sure that everything is culturally competent for our clients. Because if not, then it's going to be a lot of misdiagnosed, and then they're going to wonder why isn't this working? Why isn't this treatment working? Well, because you're doing it wrong. You're not assessing everything. You're just assuming. Yeah. So yeah, it's important for people like us to be in those places so that we can right their wrongs. Which, I mean, they should be righting their own wrongs, but we got to teach them.
We got to help them.
We got to teach them.
Sheesh. And they got to teach themselves, I think.
Right.
Because then that's, expecting black folks to do labor, and we've already had to do labor for so long, and that can turn into a whole other realm of exploitation. Man, and going back to Tuan's question, I feel like racial bias work is going to have to be the core at anything that they do to then, not pathologize black and brown kids. Right. Because if you're seeing a black or brown child through the lens of your biases, you are going to be more prone to diagnose them with ADHD. Right. You're going to be more patient with the white kids because you see them as
normal.
Whatever normal is.
Whatever
normal is.
Yeah, that's. I'm gonna end it on that note. I appreciate that. I felt seen. So now we're gonna get into Let's Keep It Real, and it's February. and Valentine's Day is coming up, so I went on Instagram and I'm like, okay, what kind of relationship questions do you guys like? What do y'all want to know? And of course, the ladies flooded my Instagram story. I'm like, okay. So we have Susan, who is married. Okay, y'all see that? Y'all see that rock? It's been shining in my face now. Hood psychologist, almost said you government, but so hood psychologist is in a long-term relationship as well, and me, I'm alone. It's okay. I love myself though.
Alone but not lonely.
Right. Okay, so we're just gonna get into some of the questions that you guys asked us on the Instagram page and just answer to the best of our ability. I might let hood psychologist answer some of them because I'm gonna let you take this one because I'm single right now, but I do have a little bit of knowledge.
Yeah.
But
hey, isn't that a statement within itself that majority of the questions came from women about relationships? Like, what's that saying about us fellas? Like, we don't. It's a hard conversation for us.
That means y'all ain't doing something right.
It's a hard conversation.
That's what that means right there.
I gotta help my brothers out.
Yeah,
I gotta
help
see
them.
What's going on?
Yeah, help them out. The first question that we have is, how do you know when you're ready for a relationship?
I like how we both look at it.
I know. I'm waiting.
I'm gonna tell you what men should do.
Okay.
Before we step into a committed relationship, first we need to make sure we're mature enough to commit, right? And I'm not even saying that the man is to blame, but it's just the society we grew up in. Like, all our lives we see to sexualize women, to treat them lesser than what they are to you. But you have to be at a point in your life where you like, what happened to the music? What happened to the beat?
It's there. It's there. Don't do it.
Yeah.
I'll
That's
transition.
a word. Why we all...
Yeah, no, but no, for real. It's like you gotta be ready to see your partner as equal to you. Like, you can't go into your relationship thinking that you're over this person, because that's not going to lead to a healthy relationship. Like, you got to be able to respect the values that your partner is bringing into the relationship and not put your values over that person. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you know that you going to be ready for it. But it's a lot easier to say than it is to do, just because we stuck in that man box, right? I've talked about this before.
Right.
Like, all our lives we are taught to be the rock, to be the foundation, to be solid. People are supposed to follow us. The man is in charge and in lead. So when we get into a relationship, we look at the person that we with like, shoot, I'm running you. I'm running this, Your perspectives, your input, I might hear you, but I'm not going to listen to it, because the world has taught me that I'm in control. I'm in charge.
Right.
We're not in charge. We're not in charge.
Yeah.
Woo, facts.
I mean, for myself, I would say I know I'm still not ready for a relationship because I want to do more work on myself. Okay. So I was watching a play yesterday, and they were talking about how people call their partners their better half. And it was like, well, it shouldn't be your better half. It should be two whole people joining a relationship. Because if you lose that half, then what are you, a quarter? Like,
Wait, go off.
So when I was listening to that, I was like, yeah, I need to focus on myself and make sure I'm a whole person before I jump into something else. Yeah. And I've been single for about 2 years, a year and a half. But
y'all hear that, fellas?
I feel that there's a lot of internal work that I need to do, a lot of personal development that I need to do, so I don't bring my insecurities from my past relationship in the next one. I don't want to bring that trauma or that drama into my next relationship. So just make sure that you're a whole person before you get into your relationship. That would be my advice.
Retweet. It's important. I think when you're able to work through those insecurities and also your attachment to your parents, if there were some attachment ruptures, then you could really show up fully as yourself and not have the idea of like a soulmate next to you, somebody to complete you, but somebody to accompany you, because you already whole yourself.
Yeah.
And when you can see yourself as an individual and your partner as an individual, then you're not wanting to control them, and you're able to walk together, on that path of life or what have you. But I think control can be a really great barrier to having a really fruitful relationship.
For real.
So back to what you're saying, a lot of trauma work, a lot of self-reflection.
Right.
You know?
I go to therapy, you know, I'm getting it right. I'm getting it right. You know what I'm saying?
I like what you said about complimenting each other. It's not, I don't need you to complete me. We need to compliment each other in both of our completeness, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's what, you know, when you at that point, you can be like, all right, I'm ready to be with somebody else.
Right.
But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work being in a relationship. It ain't easy.
Yeah,
exactly.
Along with control, you got to understand that it's going to be, you know, tough times. Y'all going to go through y'all battles in y'all relationships, but are you at a mature enough point to where you can actually understand where someone else is coming from? Yeah. If you're not there, then, you know, whenever you get into an argument or anything, you ain't going to be able to understand exactly what your partner is experiencing, what your partner is feeling. Right. Because a lot of times, we get stuck within ourselves. Like, we only think about what we're experiencing, how this problem is being presented to us. But we don't take a second to say, okay, but how might my partner be thinking about this? You know, what might be going through their head? What's their emotions like around this issue? Yeah. I'm just thinking about myself, right? So I think in a relationship, you got to be able to, you know, understand your partner and be willing to understand your partner in order for it to be healthy.
Right. That's a good segue to my next question, which is, how do you know if your relationship is unhealthy? And I'll go first on this one, because my last relationship, I always felt like I was giving more than the other person. I never felt like it was 50-50. Like, I always, you know, we lived an hour away from each other. So I was always driving out there. I was always making plans. I was always, you know, choosing the dates. I'm always trying to do something nice for him. If he's, you know, tired or whatever, stressed out, like, oh, let me get this for him. Let me do this for him. Like, I literally overexerted myself for his happiness. And I never, ever thought about me. Like, I remember, like, when I used to have to drive to his house, like, I'll be falling asleep. Like, I used to have to call people because I'm, like, literally exhausted, but I'm driving to him.
Still trying to get there.
Right. Like, I was in grad school, so I was in grad school full time. I had a part-time job, and I also had an internship.
Oh,
so I was doing a lot. And then, like, if I got a free weekend, I'm driving an hour out of my way to go see him. And he barely, you know, came to see me. But I say all that to say is, like, if it's unhealthy if you're putting the other person before you all the time. Yeah. Like, sometimes you're going to have to choose yourself.
Yeah. And a balance ain't really a balance.
Right. And I think a lot of women, you know, fall in that category, what I was in, because they want to keep their man so bad. But it's like, okay, what about you, girl? You gotta take care of you first. You can't take care of him if you're not right. Yep. So I'm over here falling asleep. Like, I could have crashed. Like, I could have, you know, something bad could have happened to me because I'm not taking care of myself. So that was how that was the beginning of the end of our relationship, when I started to realize that. At
a point, did you ever feel like you was, like, taking care of him? Like he was under your care?
Absolutely. And I'm never doing that again. I'm never doing that.
Well, I think that's common for a lot of women. Just the socializations of what it's like to be a caretaker. Yeah. And then even that can open up a whole different conversation to, it's like, okay, did your mom and dad, was that what their relationship was like? And is that what you're modeling your next relationship after?
Yeah.
So sometimes it can be a transgenerational thing. Right. And I think a relationship can also be unhealthy if you're feeling controlled. You can't really be your full self. And like you're saying, it's one-sided. Right. And you don't feel like you're being poured into as well. Or even if, like, you're talking to your friends about this person, you constantly have to make excuses for them. Constantly hiding something.
Ooh, I'm having flashbacks. Okay. HP, man. What you think? How do you know if your relationship is unhealthy?
Communication. If y'all not communicating, the most trouble you run into in relationships is not the things that y'all argue about. It's not the things that y'all always getting into it. It's those unspoken scars and unspoken damages that you go through, and you just
foster
sit.
Resentment.
Yeah, you just sit. You just let them sit inside of you, but you don't leave. You don't leave your relationship because you're comfortable. But there's so many things that you're not addressing in your relationship, right? And it's just eating you up inside, and you just waking up every single day, and you're never voicing yourself. You're never. But it gets even deeper. What if you do voice yourself, and then your partner just, okay, and so what? I don't care. You're not making me happy. Okay. And then you like, you feel me? Like, I held this in for so long, and then once I finally express it, I know that it's not gonna go nowhere, right? That's a lot of unhealthy communication right there. You know, you can find yourself in a really, really unhealthy relationship.
And the lack of empathy, I think, contributes to that
real.
a lot. Because you open your heart out to somebody and you're not taking it.
Yup.
You're not listening to
Yup. That's like
hella lonely.
right. That's like you send that long paragraph and you get the okay.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
And especially if you're feeling like you care so deeply about this person, how could they treat me that way? Because I felt that before. Like, if you told me something, like, I would really try to change. I would really try to change my behavior. And the fact that you're just saying, okay, or, I'm sorry. Oh, God. Just that's just how I am. Oh, I've heard that before, and I hate that. But... oh yeah, I'm gonna have to move to the next question, y'all, because I'm about to go off.
Keep it real.
About to go off.
Keep it real.
You know what I'm saying?
That comes up in friendships too.
Oh, what?
On episode 12.
Yeah, when we do the friendship episode, we will talk about that part. Yeah. The next question says, "Do you believe in the saying right person, wrong time?"
I do.
Yeah.
I definitely would agree. Because we meet people in different phases, different transitions, at different points in our lives, and it's like, if I'm, what's the word I'm looking for? If I had enough life experiences to where I really fully understand myself, and that can look different for different people because we all got a different timeline, right? We all got a different lifeline. We've all experienced different things at different points in our lives.
Right.
You may have been exposed to more traumatic things when you were younger, and I grew up privileged, right? But we meet each other and we feel like we got this connection, but our worlds just don't align, right? Because one of us don't really understand what really got us to this point to where we met, right? So it could be the right person for you. It's just the wrong time because y'all haven't both got to that whole completeness of your understanding yourself.
Right.
And also, go
ahead.
Looking at it like practically, you might have work, you might have school, you might have a whole bunch of things that are keeping you busy, and you can't fully show up in your relationship. Yeah. But that might be the person for you, and it could be one of those things where you're like, okay, we know we have a connection. Maybe after we graduate, we'll see if things,
I'm getting it in right now. Yeah, I'm grinding right now. Right?
Okay, so I'm gonna play devil's advocate on this.
Why does the devil need an advocate? Why?
Do we wait for that person?
Oh,
that's on. I almost said that's on you.
Because I feel like I've been in that situation before where I feel a very deep connection with the person. And I'm just like, dang, why can't he get it right now? Like, we go together. Like, we complement each other. Yeah. I'll say that. Yeah. We complement each other. It's a strong bond. It's a strong connection. But he's, we're both busy. We're both, we'll have our own lives, separate lives. Yeah. And in the back of my head, sometimes I think, okay, maybe I'll just wait. But then I'm like, no, I want to live my life. Like, I don't want to just sit around and be waiting because what if I start dating somebody else?
And then you have that connection is strong. That's your,
right, exactly. Because then I feel like in the past, it's bothered me because in the back of my head, I'm like, I don't get too close to the person I'm dating because I'm still thinking about this other person. Because I know this is the real connection. This is the real connection that I want. But right now, I'm just trying to waste my time. So I'm going to date this guy. Yeah. So... yeah, that's why I had to, play devil's advocate because I'm like, do you wait or do you bounce?
Dang. I think it depends on what you're doing if you wait, because that could be a period of grievance, Like you said, you have somebody who you connected with, you still miss them, but you might not be ready for another relationship. Grieve that. Process that out. Or you could wait if you want to, if you really ain't interested in dating nobody, but it all depends on what you want to do and what you don't want to miss out on. Right. If that makes sense.
Yeah, see, y'all giving me therapy up in here. Oh, man. Okay, let me go to the next question. This question was submitted by a woman. So she said that, does the man need to like the woman more than she likes him to make the relationship work? And I'm just going to look over here. And
I found myself in that position. When I read that question, I was like, dang, I be thinking. Like, I thought back to my past relationships, even the relationship that I'm in now. Like, for a long time, I was like, I'm putting in so much effort to show that I like you, that I love you. I'm doing all of these extra sweet and nice things, and it's I want it to be something that the world sees, that you actually can visualize. Like, you can tell just by my actions that, you know, I'm really.
Was that
feeling
the way you show love, or the way she wanted you to show love?
There it go. That's the way I showed it. That's the way I showed it. Right. I was like, I'm doing all this, and it's like the response I was getting wasn't the response that I wanted. Right. And it was like. And I was like, she's not doing the same thing. Like, I'm doing all these actions and buying all these gifts, doing all these surprises, cute little things. Come on, let's do this, let's do that. But I never took into account, like, her love language, like how she expresses the fact that she loves me. My girl left Vegas to move all the way to Kansas. Who goes from Vegas to Kansas? Party to cornfields. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For me, and I didn't look at that as an act of love. I looked at that as like, oh well, we both went out there, you know, so. You still need to do more.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
No.
For real, I'm just keeping it real.
Yeah.
Like, I really had that perspective at the early stages of my relationship, even up until recently. Like, a couple months ago, I barely changed my perspective. But yeah, a lot of times men can feel that way, but I don't think that's necessary for the relationship to work. You just got to understand, how is my partner showing me this love?
Right.
You know?
Right. Learn your love languages.
For real.
Like, what does it even mean to love somebody more than they love you? And does that feel like a one-sided relationship? Because if it does, then you might want to reevaluate, you know, talk to your partner more, and communicate.
Right. Yeah, I feel like it's a misconception because people will say this. Like, oh, make sure the man loves you more and stuff. But like she said, you don't want it to be one-sided, because I've been in the situation where I felt it was one-sided. I voiced my opinion. I said what it is that was bothering me, and nothing changed.
Yeah.
So that's not a good feeling.
It's not.
That's not a good feeling when you're putting all your love and commitment and everything into this person. You're pouring into this person. You're not getting anything in return. And then you tell them. And they still don't do anything. Or they do it for a little bit. And then they just fall off. Yeah. That's not... Yeah, I don't believe in that saying.
Nah, and I would add too, it's like, even when you start to voice, you know, and start to tell the person, like, I'm doing all this, I'm showing you all this love, your partner needs to say, well, that's not the way I show love. Like,
I can't, two to tango, for sure.
I can't give that to you. Right. You know, that's not who I am. You know, I show love in this way, and you got to understand yourself to be able to have that conversation. Like, how do I express love? You know, what do I do?
And I think it's important to prepare yourself for that realization that your partner might not change. That might be who they are. What can you do with that? Do you stay and try to fix them and try to change them, or do you say, okay, I know what I want, and I'm going to go to that?
Right. And I will make a point that you can't change them. They got to want to change for themselves. So you have to make the decision. Are you going to sit there and deal with it, or are you going to walk away from the relationship? So, yeah, you can't change.
And it takes a lot of self-love to say, I can't change you, I don't want to, and I love myself.
Exactly, because a lot of women will do that. Oh, well, he'll change, or I can make him... No, he ain't gonna change.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna change. He ain't gonna change unless he wants to change. Doesn't matter how many times you bring it up, how you try to teach him, whatever it is, he has to want it himself for that change to happen. There's nothing you could do to make him change.
That's so true. That's so much fact, and it's hitting home, because even myself, I was in that predicament. Like, I wanted to change my girl so bad. I left her because she wouldn't change. She wouldn't act how I wanted to act.
Right.
And the only way our relationship repaired and got restored is because I changed.
Wow.
It was me that needed to change it, because I was putting the change. She wasn't asking me to do nothing different.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? She was not asking me to do anything different. I was telling her, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to
Because when you're attempting to change somebody, you're really trying to control a part of you that feels insecure. I was just about to touch on that.
That's fact.
Okay, let's go. Wait, I want to know more about that. When you try to change a person, You said
you're trying to control a part of yourself that feels insecure. There's something about you that you're not okay with, so it's sort of like projecting that outward. Like, okay, I need to fix you and control you and make you the way I want you to be. But when you can look deep inside and uncover that, and it's hard. It's not easy to name all those fears.
Right.
Then you feel a sense of freedom. You see your partner as autonomous because you feel autonomous and secure with yourself more than you were before.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I watch a lot of like romance movies, and I don't know if it was like Tyler Perry or something, but they were talking about marriage and stuff, and the person asked the other character, like, if your partner never changed and just stayed the way they are right now, like, would you be able to live with that? Not with their potential of what they can be, but what they are right now. If you don't think you could be with that person, then don't marry them. Don't think about the potential. Like, what if they never change from today, right now, how they are? You got to think about that. And I mean, you could think about that in relationships too. Like, don't think about, oh, well, he has potential, or he's gonna be this or whatever, because I done made that mistake. I'm like, oh, he has so much potential. He's going to be this. Especially in college, nobody has their career yet. Everybody's at the same level, right? So you're thinking like, oh, he's this major, so he's going to be this. Like, he's going to make a good husband, and da-da-da-da. What if he never,
what if he don't want to get married?
What if he doesn't want to get married? What if he never makes it to that point? Are you still going to be down for that person? And I think that everybody should ask themselves that before they enter into any new relationship or commitment. But yeah, okay. Segue. What is more important, love or commitment?
Both. In my opinion, but go ahead.
No, I'll say both. Let me reevaluate it now. Because
go ahead.
No, go ahead, Susan. Go ahead.
Dang.
Oh, that was me.
Oh, that was you.
But I was saying, I feel like love is easy. Like, it's easy to fall in love, but it's hard to stay committed, because you have to think about it. In a long-term relationship or in a marriage, there's gonna be times where you don't like the person, and you have that commitment is gonna keep you there. Right. Even though you may love them, that don't mean you like them all the time. So, I mean, I wouldn't say that love or commitment, which one is more important than the other, because I feel like love is just easier to do. Like, you spend time with you spend a lot of time with the person that you like, and eventually you start loving them. You know, it's not like a science to it, really. But commitment, that
takes work.
It takes work.
And I think some people have like different ideas of love. A lot of people see it as this fantasy land. Like, oh, it's going to be so perfect. Girl, that's unrealistic.
Right.
Like you said, you're not going to like your partner all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been with my husband for almost 7 years now. We've been married for almost 1. Anniversary coming up.
Okay.
But like, there are some times where we
don't go to Maestro's.
We didn't like each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we loved each other enough, and we're committed enough to say, okay, how can we work together and come to a repair, because we're a unit. And it's okay to not be okay all the time in the context of a relationship.
Nah, that's facts. That's why I kind of retracted my statement, because I feel like, all right, you in love, right? But then you got those aspects like y'all talked about that you don't like. There's certain times when you don't like that person. The strength of your love is what's gonna keep you committed. Because if I'm saying I'm in love with you, but right now it's some things you're doing that I'm not liking, temptation is right there knocking at the door to go get what you like. Go find what you like in someone else. But I only need that person for what I like, because I'm still in love with my partner. You know what I'm saying? That's the thought process that goes behind it. I think that goes behind cheating. It's like, oh, I'm comfortable. I'm in love right here. I'm in love right here. But she's just not doing she's not doing this. She's not doing that. I don't really like this about her. I don't really like that about her. So let me go and get what I like. You know, let me go get my needs met. Let me go get my values fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? So commitment, it really is something that it's a muscle you got to build. Like, you got to really be able to say, you got to really be able to teach yourself and hone in yourself that I'm committed to this person. I'm in love with this person. Temptation may be telling me to go and deal with this other girl, deal with this other guy or whatever, but why would I do that to the person that I'm in love with?
It looked like you were going to say something.
Well, yeah, because he said he talked about cheating, and this is not on here, but I want to know, because a lot of guys will say that even though they cheated, they still love their partner. So in that instance, I'm thinking, well, then commitment is more important than love, because it's like if you just love me, that's not enough to keep you from cheating, though.
It ain't.
Yeah, you know, it's a choice. I hear that.
Right. Yeah. So it's just interesting that he mentioned cheating, because it was like a light bulb went off in my head. And I'm like, because I always hear that. Oh, I love you, baby. Still, like, don't leave. I wonder. This is just another question. Do you feel like it's different for women who cheat versus like men who cheat?
What do you mean by that?
So I'm thinking about like how. Well, they say, I don't know if this is a proven fact, but like when men cheat, there's no emotional connection to the person. Yeah. So that's why they're able to still love their partner, but still go out and cheat for their, sexual desires, whatever it be. Yeah. But a lot of people say that women cheat for emotional reasons. So I'm like, okay, so does that mean the woman's not in love anymore when she cheats? Like, I just... wanted to get y'all perspective on that, because we always talk about men cheating. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It ain't a sorry.
But I just wanted to like throw a curveball in there, like about women cheating. Do you guys think that when a woman cheats that she's still in love?
Possibly, yeah. Like there are a lot of reasons why everybody cheats. I feel like.
Right.
I think some people are just like, I'm not getting a need met, like y'all were talking about.
Right.
Not getting an emotional need met. So naturally, as a human being, you're going to try to find that elsewhere. And I think in society, a lot of women get heat for cheating because of this idea that you're supposed to be committed, and it's okay for a man to cheat because they gonna fuck anybody anyway, or whatever the notion will be.
Yeah. That's facts.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next question, which is, how do you know when you have found the one, and is there really such a thing as a soulmate?
I think the soulmate aspect of that question just touches on your like spirituality, ideology.
Right.
I believe in soulmates. I think that me and my girl are soulmates. Shout out to you, baby, for watching. I don't think she'd be watching the full episode. Like, yeah, check it out. Man, I seen it.
Well, you gonna know now, because if she sees this.
No, but yeah, I think it just depends on like your level of spirituality and how much you think universal connections are real and energetic connections are real. I think it's real.
Well, I want to ask Susan, because she's the one that has found the one.
I think soulmates are real. And there's been research that's been done on it that shows they are real. But there are different kind of soulmates that you might come across.
Okay.
Like my husband, I feel is my soulmate, but I also got certain friends who I feel like are my soulmates.
Okay.
And there are some things I can get from my friends that I can't get from my husband, and that's okay. Because we're like unique people. We're so complex. Yeah. We can't ever have just one person who's going to meet all of our needs. That is unrealistic. And that can lead to a lot of problems in a relationship. Can you say the question again?
How do you know if you found the one, and is there really such a thing as a soulmate? So you already answered the second half, so.
Yeah, how you know you found the one? Dang. I'll just speak on my experience.
Yeah.
When I knew I could be my full self, like inner child type stuff. I can do whatever and be accepted by my partner. Not judged, not criticized, no contempt. Or even if it does come up, we can communicate that. And we really wanted to hear and understand each other. That's when I knew I found the one. And it felt like home base. I really pay attention to what my body feels like in certain spaces. And if I feel anxious for whatever reason about a certain person, I'm going to tap into why. Maybe that person is not for me.
Ooh.
That could get deep, but...
but I've had that conversation with my therapist. Like, a lot of men make me feel either anxious or annoyed. And I'm like trying to figure out why. But... That the thing that you mentioned was you listen to your body, and I think people don't pay attention to red flags. I'm guilty of this. I'm talking about me. When I say people, I always do that. I'll be like, people this and people that.
That's real.
No, Nia did this, okay? So I think that's an important part of it. Pay attention to your body. Pay attention to how you're feeling around that person, because your body is trying to talk to you. Your body is trying to tell you something.
Yeah.
And I feel that I'll say, why do I keep saying some people? What happened with me before, it's like I was so desperate for a companion that I ignored those feelings. I ignored those feelings of anxiety. I ignored those feelings in my stomach. Like in the back of my head, I'm like, Nia, come on. You know this dude ain't, he ain't shit. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? But it's just like, oh, I just want to feel loved. I just want to feel like somebody likes me.
Yeah.
So I stay in the situation, and then I end up resenting the person.
I want to feel like the person that I likes me, not somebody.
Right, exactly. I want to feel like the person I likes me.
Yeah.
But then I end up resenting the person they're not liking them, and then I get mad at them, and I'm thinking like, no, this is your fault, girl. This is your fault. You seen the signs. Yeah. Why did you keep going back? Why did you keep texting first? Why did you keep showing up to his house? Like, just don't do it.
I don't think it was fully your fault, though. I know.
Okay.
I'll
take that. Yeah, it was their fault too.
Boom! He's seen you doing that and did not say, you know what, maybe I shouldn't take advantage of this person. For whatever reason, some things came up. It's not all you.
Yeah.
I think how you know you found the one is just how natural it is. Like
not
you were saying,
forced.
you can be that.
Yeah,
you can be that inner child. Like, you know, y'all laughing together effortlessly. You're not putting too much effort.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like when me and my girl like first got together, it was just like, you know, it was like an effortless connection. I wasn't really trying to prove anything or like be this special guy. I was just being myself, and she just, you know, fell in love with it. And she was being herself, and I fell in love with it. You know, so. Just how natural and how real it is, you know.
Okay. The next question says, do women and men view relationships and love the same?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a hard, like, that's a blanket, like,
such a
question. Yes, it's too broad.
Yeah, because you got different type of men. Like, I mean, because it just categorizes men and women in the same, and it doesn't make it seem like there's a spectrum of different personalities between men and women. Like, we all got one personality. So
yeah.
I would say, just for me personally, I feel like girls are kind of taught from a young age that love and like relationships, like that should be your goal. Like, oh, it's a fantasy land. Right, exactly. Oh, you're gonna get married and then you're gonna like
don't be too big. You want to make your relationship comfortable.
Right. Yeah, it's like I remember being in like middle school or elementary school, like, oh, I can't wait till I get a boyfriend. I can't wait. And like, you know, they encourage us, they give us the Ken doll and the Barbie doll.
Yep.
You know, like they kind of prepare us so that all that we want growing up is like attention from men. Right. And I don't feel like that's right. And hopefully, you know, if I get blessed to have a daughter, I can teach her, you know, the right way, instead of always like, oh, I need to have a boyfriend, I need to have a man, and da. And I'll say, from my perspective, like, they always taught men, like, you know, just to do what they want, you know, date around, like, you young, man, you could date multiple women at the same time. Like, they don't condemn women for they don't condemn men for like sleeping around, but like women, it's like, no, you're supposed to be with one man at a time. You can't have this many bodies. You can't have this.
And if you embrace your sexuality, you're a hoe.
Right, exactly.
So that's a whole different story.
Right.
No, but I think you touching on a really good point, because I'm just thinking back from on the opposite end of, you know, y'all women as a child, you learn, oh, I'm supposed to be married, I'm supposed to find the one. But I was just thinking back, like the cartoons I watched and the Disney Channel movies, you always see the man coming to save the princess or something, right? Yeah. And so think about, as a kid, processing that. It's like, like, I'm supposed to save women. You know, I got to find a woman that I'm going to swoop off her feet.
Boom.
Right.
Why she ain't on her feet walking already?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you, society.
To aspire to marry.
For real. Like,
be successful, but not too successful.
Come on.
Right.
So, like, society really puts the media really puts messages in our head at a young age. And if we don't have interventions at an early age in our life, we'll fall victim to, you know, believing the stereotypical ideology.
Right.
That hasn't worked.
And then we grow up And if we don't have that relationship or don't have that love, we feel like something's wrong with us.
Yeah.
And yeah, that sucks, because it's like nothing's wrong with us. It's just not everybody wants to be in a relationship all the time. Some people just really want to be single and enjoy, their time.
Okay.
Right, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that you're not lovable or you're not ever going to get married or whatever it is. So also too, I think as far as like marriage, and that was another question that somebody asked, like, do couples still aspire, like, is marriage the top level of commitment for couples still, like, today? And I was just thinking about that and how our generation, I feel like a lot of women my age are still like, oh, I still want to get married. But, like, a lot of men are like, I mean, if it happens, like, I'm not pressed, So it's just interesting. It seems like to me that men and women do view love and relationships differently, to me. Yeah. But that's my opinion. Yeah. I'm not saying that to everybody. Yeah. There's always, those men that are looking for a wife and, intentionally dating. So
that makes a lot of sense because of our socialization.
Right. That's what I say. I would actually say, of course, to that question. Because we view in the world and we experience in the world in two different fashions, right? So we can't have the same viewpoint on a relationship, right? That makes sense.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, we're probably not gonna have
the same thing.
We're probably.
There's so much gray to it, though.
Yeah,
it's like you were saying, there are some guys who do like to show up more attuned to their emotions. And don't fit in that binary.
Right. So, last question: should exes still be cool after a relationship? Ooh.
What's cool? I'm saying what's cool.
Oh, what's cool? How do you define that?
Hi, hey, I see you at the grocery store. Hello, or we can go to dinner.
They're saying like, I think they're saying like a friendship. Like, should they still be friends after
kicking and hanging out?
I think that's a conversation to talk with your partner about.
Right. Yeah.
For me, I'm gonna say nah. Not.
Well, I said no.
Yeah, I'm gonna say nah.
Wait. Why though? Why though?
Say nah.
Why no?
Because I understand at one point, like, y'all had the same, not necessarily the same connection that we had, but it's a possibility that could rekindle. What if that's your friend, right? And you're supposed to be able to call on your friends, and we get into it in our relationship. Who you calling on? The dude that you was with before? Yeah.
And if that happens, I think that's telling to the relationship. And as difficult as it can be, it's difficult.
Yeah.
What would your life look like without your partner? If that were to happen, how could you prepare yourself to be able to be okay? Going back to what it's like to be by yourself and to love yourself. It will not be easy, and at the same time, if that can happen, that's a conversation that needs to be held with you and your partner.
Yep.
Okay, so what if you're not in a relationship? Can you still be friends with your exes?
I think people get to define that for themselves.
Okay. I will say for me personally, it depends on the situation and how the situation ended. There are exes of mine that I'm still cool with to this day, and we can have normal conversations. It's not weird. It's like, oh, I see you doing good. Like, oh yeah, I see you too. Sometimes we'll hang out like maybe once or twice, but not like consistently. And my most recent ex, I don't talk to him at all.
About to burn that bridge.
I had to completely. It was a very traumatic breakup. I had to completely like cut him off because it's like I need to heal. Yeah. And I cannot heal with the reminder of you in my face all the time. So to answer this question, I would say it depends on how the relationship ended, and it depends on the person. Yeah. Because like HP was saying, you shouldn't really be like talking to your ex about problems that in your new relationship.
Yes. That disrespects the boundaries of the
relationship.
Right,
yeah, because then it kind of makes me think like, okay, so you're not really over this person then. Yeah. You're still relying on them for emotional support. That's not cool. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it depends on the definition of cool, and it depends on the person.
And the level of friendship, too.
Right.
Like what level of friendship are we talking? We talking about somebody you can call on whenever you need them, or are you talking about somebody that's just like, hey, what's up? Like, how you doing?
Like if you see them, you say hey, but like you're not texting them and stuff. Cordial and being friends is two different things. That's true. So keep that in mind.
That's true.
And also keep your current relationship in mind. Be mindful of what's gonna what seems inappropriate and what's not inappropriate. But I'm gonna just throw a little curveball in here. You know, I said last question, but I got one more question. I thought it was kind of funny because somebody said, if the sex is trash in the beginning of the relationship,
throw the whole relationship. Throw it away.
Can it be fixed? Can we salvage this relationship if the sex is trash? And HP, I want you to answer that one.
You know what? I think that question is really asking, are you, like, do you care? Do you care about my needs being met? Do you care about the level of satisfaction that I'm saying that I need from sex? And if you're just telling me nah, then yeah, it's a problem. You know, if you just or if you're telling me I can't perform, or I can't do this for you, then you know you just got to accept that. But if you're telling me like, I hear you keep complaining about the same thing, but I don't care. You know, I really don't care that your sexual needs aren't being met. I don't care. That's what I view it as. You know, so it
depends on if they physically cannot do it, or if they just don't care.
Yeah, like if I physically can't just give you what you're asking, then I can't. Like, you know, I don't know what you want me to do. But if it's like, say we talking about like oral sex, and the girl's saying you ain't giving me enough oral sex, right? And then I'm just like, I'm not doing that.
Right, I don't do that.
And that's something you can actively change.
You know, I'm not doing that. That's something that you can. If my spouse is saying this is something that I need, and I'm saying, okay, I need to then say, okay, my spouse is bringing a need to me. Is this a need that I can address? If it's a yes, then why wouldn't you do that for the person that you love? You know, that's how I view it.
I think everybody should have more sex.
Okay.
She said, okay, sex is so important. You know, we're sexual beings. And if you're comfortable being non-monogamous too, I think you could have that conversation with your partner. If they cannot physically give you what you need, then how can we get what we need and still be a unit?
Right. Yeah. And I know the person who asked this, so it's just it's funny, but I agree with what HP is saying. Like, is there a difference? Like, is he just not trying to try to learn your body and learn what your needs are, or he physically can't do it? And if he physically can't do it, are you willing to deal with that? Are you willing to deal with that? Because if, like she said, everybody should have more sex. Sex is very important in the relationship. If that's really important in the relationship, you have to evaluate, like, am I going to deal with this, or am I going to find this with somebody else?
But I would say the most important thing is to address it.
Right,
you know, don't just not say
Definitely.
nothing about it.
Don't do that. That's mean. That's mean.
She said that's mean.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking, like, if you're having sex with somebody and then you're like,
you're not enjoying
this is trash, man. This is trash. Then you go tell your girlfriend, he did this, and this, but then you don't tell him what he did wrong, and then like you just stop talking to him or whatever the case may be. Like that's kind of messed up.
Hey, we take a lot of L's in our life, but if you don't get the opportunity to turn your L into a lesson, then how could you blame that person for losing?
Right. Okay. I like that. Okay. Well, thank you, Susan, for joining us today. I really enjoyed our discussion, and thank you to the listeners who submitted all of the questions. I didn't get to all of them, but you know, I appreciate and support. I mean, thank you guys for your support. Susan, do you have any like social media or anything that you want people to follow you on?
No, I'm kidding. Okay. Yeah. Y'all can follow me at kinetic2_therapy. And that's it. That's all.
Nice.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure that you follow us, subscribe to our page, subscribe to our YouTube page, our podcast page, leave a comment. We appreciate all your support. We just passed 600 listeners, so I'm really
congratulations, y'all.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. I can't wait for this content to get to y'all. But thank you guys. Thank both of you guys, and thank the listeners too.
Hey, y'all keep the love and the peace. We'll see what's good with y'all next week.